MegaPodTastic. Good morning, MegaPodlings. It's Crazy Joe. I'm going to talk to you about a movie that is hitting physical media today. It's on store shelves today. You can go out to your local Target, Best Buy, Walmart, wherever you get your movies, Amazon, it doesn't matter. Wherever you get your movies, you'll be able to pick it up today. And that movie is The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, the latest film in the Conjuring franchise. This review copy was sent to me by our friends at Warner Brothers. I want to thank Warner Brothers for sending this to me. I did see it in the theater. I did do a review of the movie on this very channel, which you'll be able to find. Went out to the theater to see it. And yeah, this is the third film in the Conjuring franchise. Well, the third film in the Conjuring series. It's actually the eighth film in the Conjuring franchise, because we've had 3 Conjuring movies. We've had 3 Annabelle movies. That's 6 right there. Curse of La Llorona and The Nun. So yeah, 8 altogether in this franchise. This is number 8 of the franchise overall, and number 3 in the Conjuring proper, the series that launched the Conjuring universe. Are you confused yet? Now, the Conjuring movies have been, up till now, I think, the gold standard in this universe, and maybe even in modern horror altogether. The first 2 films, directed by James Wan, are 2 of the best modern horror movies I've ever seen. I mean, they're really, really good. In recent years, I think they're kind of unparalleled. They led to the Annabelle spin-off series and The Nun, which I loved the last 2 Annabelle films, Annabelle Creation and Annabelle Comes Home. They're really as good as the Conjuring movies themselves. The first Annabelle, a little weak. It's one of those movies that starts off weak and kind of gets better as it goes on. But my God, the sequels are stellar, especially the third one, Annabelle Comes Home, which brings the stars of the Conjuring in. The strength of the Conjuring franchise is the leads, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are real people. These movies are all based on true stories. How closely based they are, well, that's up to you to decide. From what I understand, the original Conjuring is pretty close. I, years ago, interviewed one of the children that actually lived in the house, Andrea Perron, who was the oldest girl in the Perron family that the Conjuring was about. And apparently this movie was fairly accurate. I mean, there were liberties taken, but it's not that far off. This Conjuring 2, I couldn't tell you. And the Conjuring 3, I kind of tend to think there were a lot of liberties. This one was advertised as being about a case where there was a murder, and the murderer pled not guilty due to demonic possession. Hence the title, The Devil Made Me Do It. It sounds like an interesting idea, but as I said in my review when I saw it in the theater, the court case, which the trailer would lead you to believe is the main thing, is really almost non-essential to the plot at all. In fact, it's really not even in the movie. It's you know, this is a movie about more these original 2 are haunted house movies. This one is more about the occult, and it's not a haunted house film like the first 2. We've got a witch, I guess we would call her, or some kind of well, they call her on the back the occultist. There's a very human villain in this movie. And it does involve demonic possession and a human villain who was summoning these demons. I don't want to give you too much. You got to see it for yourself. I will say this. This is the weakest of the 3. Of the 3 Conjuring films, this is by far the weakest, without question. But it's still worth watching. It's still pretty good. It's still worth watching. The strength in this movie, as with the other 2, is the Warrens. Ed and Lorraine Warren are likable characters. We like them. We want to see them. We want to spend time with them. And Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson just do a stellar job inhabiting these roles, and I want to keep watching them play these roles. So I do hope we get a Conjuring 4. This film is the first film in the franchise that is not directed by James Wan. It is directed by Michael Chavez, I believe his name is. Michael Chavez, he is the director of The Curse of La Llorona, another film in the Conjuring series, and sadly, one of the weakest films in the Conjuring series. So I was not too happy when I heard he was taking over the directing duties from James Wan, but this is a much better film than The Curse of La Llorona. Trust me on that. This is much better. Now, here we have the 4K, the 4K Ultra HD. Picture is fantastic. Really just looks terrific. But it's also got some great special features. So let's take a look at this. 4K, as Warner Brothers usually does with their 4K releases, there are no bonus features at all on the 4K release. The 4K release, you get the Ultra HD version of the movie, and that's it. But it also comes with the Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray does have special features. Some of the special features we get are The Occultist, which is a featurette about the villain of the piece, the human villain of the piece, the one that I said, is she a witch? You know, I don't know. She unlike the first two where they're haunted houses, she's the human antagonist in this film. It's also got a featurette called By Reason of Demonic Possession, where they talk about the very real court case that this was based on, in which a murderer claimed not guilty by reason of demonic possession as his defense. So there is a featurette on that actual court case here. Exorcism of Fear, delve into the making of the movie and the chilling exorcism scene that opens the film. The film opens with a reenactment of an actual exorcism that really happened, an actual exorcism that was sanctioned by the Catholic Church. We get a dramatic reenactment of it, and this Exorcism of Fear feature is kind of cool because they do show you how it was made. There's a very young contortionist. A contortionist was hired to kind of simulate this young boy who was being twisted out of shape, his body twisting this way and that way. So they brought in an actual contortionist to do these things that appear to be very, very unnatural that is happening to him. It's a cool little scene. And one last thing, there is a digital comic on here, a digital comic book. DC Comics presents The Conjuring, The Lover #1. An actual DC Comics comic is on here, and it's a story set in the Conjuring universe, and you get to see panel by panel as it plays out digitally in front of you with voiceovers. Now, that's not the only thing we got with this release involving DC Comics. As you'll see here, this release, you can get a free 30-day comic subscription to DC Universe Infinite. DC Universe Infinite is DC's digital comic subscription service. So that's kind of cool. If you've ever been interested in digital comics, you can try it out here thanks to this special code in The Conjuring 3. Devil Made Me Do It. Of course, there's also a digital code to get a digital copy of the film that ports to movies anywhere. You can watch that on Vudu, iTunes, Amazon, Google, every place Movies Anywhere ports to. And that is also in Ultra HD. So there you go. The Conjuring 3, latest film in the Conjuring series. Hopefully not the last. I do want to see Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga back in these parts. They are great as Ed and Lorraine Warren. I just sounded like Tony the Tiger. They're great. They're terrific in those roles. And even in this film, which is, like I said, the weakest film in this franchise to date. Well, the weakest film in the Conjuring proper franchise to date. The weakest film in the franchise is still The Nun. The Nun is that's by far the weakest. But it's the weakest film in the Conjuring proper series. But it's definitely still worth watching because these characters are so much fun to watch on screen together. The chemistry between these actors. Patrick Wilson, man. He is one of the great unsung actors of our generation. Like, I mean, he should be a big leading man. He should be doing a lot more work than he gets. So he's, don't get me wrong, the guy's no shortage of work. He's always working. I mean, he's going to be in Aquaman 3 now. Aquaman 3, directed by James Wan, who directed the first two. By the way, the Conjuring franchise was produced by Walter Hamada. Walter Hamada did such a good job with the Conjuring universe, he got promoted to DC Comics, and he brought a lot of the talent along with him. So if you like these movies, it's the same guy who, he's not anymore. He moved over to DC. He didn't do Conjuring 3. But the early Conjuring films were produced by Walter Hamada, and he went on, now he's doing all the DC films. So Suicide Squad, the upcoming Batman movie, the upcoming Flash movie. That's all Walter Hamada, who was heavily involved in these Conjuring universe. And there's a big connection between the Conjuring universe and the DC universe. It's because James Wan is now doing Aquaman, and the director who did Annabelle Creation is now doing the Shazam franchise. David Sandberg is his name. So if you like DC Comics and the DC movies, the Conjuring franchise might be something you want to check out too, because they are connected with behind the scenes. So there you go. Conjuring 3 on sale today, Tuesday, August 24th. It's my daughter's birthday. Why do I have to check the date? It's my daughter's birthday. Damn it. That should be ingrained in my head. Well, it is, but you know how it is. You turn the camera on and everything goes out of your head. That's just the way it works. That's just nature. But this is on shelves now. Go pick up a copy. Support physical media. If you want physical media to keep being made, you got to buy it. And this is on sale today. Everybody keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas with the plastic feet. Keep wearing those pajamas. Tell everyone you meet. Keep wearing those pajamas with the back door flap. Keep wearing those pajamas. Don't open, it's a trap. Oh no, it's a trap. Some people call them PJs, some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander adamas, but no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now we're having fun. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now the song is done.